Hey guys, today we are going to go out to the garage and we are going to put a new thermostat and thermostat housing into a 1995 BMW 525i, the M50 motor in it. It started off as I was going to change the water pump, but that wasn't it. So then we switched over to thermostat housing. So let's run out there and take a look and see how that goes.
All right, guys, we're out here at the E34 525i, and this water pump's been leaking for some time. And I just replaced the one in the other car the other day. That one wasn't even really leaking, and it just like went kaplunk. So I thought I'd just take care of this one. So we're gonna start by just letting the fluid out of this guy. And since we're replacing the water pump, we are going to replace the upper and lower radiator hose as well while we're here. So I haven't done this in a while, so I think this just screws out as I remember. Oh, that's right. Now I remember. Okay, I'm gonna loosen the radiator hose now. So I remember now, because it never doesn't drip out of here. It goes all over the place. It's a mess. Alright, so this is kind of how this goes. I remember this. I was not a fan of this. I don't know why they just didn't make that plug come out and come out there, and then you could catch it in the pan. But so we'll let this drip down, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I just zip tie these guys on all the time. So we're just going to take these zip ties off. And now we're going to loosen this guy and take the shroud and the fan off. So I have like a set of these guys. It's got these wrench, and this is made to have an air hammer put on it. And then this guy just fits into here. And there's different ones of these, and I just labeled this one E34, so I just don't have to try to fit them. I just know which one goes on where. And so we're going to get this in here. And so this is reverse thread. So just pretend you're going to tighten it to take this guy off. So I usually just set this guy up in here the best I can. And then slide that on. And then I just hit this with a hammer. I never use a air hammer. That just seems a little excessive. Oh, except I set it up backwards. Whoops. Okay, let's try that again. So we need to go this way. Okay, so now, if it was regular thread, we'd be tightening it. So this is the way we want to go. So then I just give this guy a tap. Usually that does it. And I'm probably going to drop my wrench in the bucket down there. Let's see if I can grab that. All right, and then I try not to keep stuff around here, like tools and stuff that I've used. just in case the hood shuts for some reason. I don't want to damage the hood, so I just put these aside. All right, now we just spin this guy off. You can see that it's loosening down there at the base down there. It's almost there. One more. Oh, one more. All right, now we can just pull this guy out. So I just pulled this guy out and the shroud out at the same time. So I was just looking at this, and this says I replaced the water pump in 2021 at 84,000. That's only 16,000 miles ago. But I definitely have a leak out here somewhere. I'm not sure where it is though now, because I find it hard to believe that the water pump failed that quickly. So I'm definitely replacing these hoses. So I'm going to take these off, and maybe they'll give us some room to look around. I know it's only got 90,000 on it, so that's only 6,000 miles that would have. So no, I definitely don't think it's a water pump, but it might be. I'm thinking it might be the gasket on the housing for the thermostat right here. So anyways, I'm gonna get these hoses off because we're going to replace these anyways, and then we'll see what we can see from there after that. It should be pretty empty in here, I think. Yeah. This one's a little crankier than that one was. Here we go. Still don't see. Oh, I can see some residue. See, there's residue right there. So is that leaking from up here and coming down, or is that squirting out of there? I think we're just gonna go ahead and take this thermostat housing off. I bought another one. I mean, this one looks fine, but we'll just replace that and have a new gasket and stuff. We'll just go from there. All right, so we just have this guy right here. I think there's four bolts. All right, so I went for the low-lying fruit first. Those are the easy ones. Oh, this one's really accessible here too. Yeah, this has been a long process because I remember, because I had a fairly new radiator in it and it was leaking, and so I replaced the radiator because I had replaced, the water pump wasn't that old at that time, and then it was still leaking, and then sometime later I replaced the water pump on it, was still leaking, and so here we are at the thermostat housing. So if this isn't it, I don't know what's going on. So I did have, obviously, the valve cover gasket was leaking. That's why the front of this is such a mess, but I replaced all the lifters in this. So hopefully, it doesn't look like fresh oil, so hopefully that's been taken care of. Alright, maybe this will just pop right off. I may have to give it a little tap. Oh, it comes right off. Oh, whoops, I need to take take this bracket off. Alright, I'll get this lift bracket off, which I'm not crazy about because it holds the Vanos on. I don't want it to start leaking from the Vanos gasket. All right. Well, there's the gasket. I mean, doesn't look like the healthiest gasket. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's where it was leaking from. Let's get a closer look in here. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was leaking, especially right down here. Or even over down in the bottom right here. I'm gonna go with, yeah, that was leaking. Which I didn't realize, but it says some thermostats have a directional error, a directional error or vent hole near the edge. Install the thermostat so that either the arrow or the hole are at the top. I don't see that on this one, so we're just going to orient it like it is in this picture right here because I didn't take note of it when I took it apart. So we're just going to put it in like that. Some thermostats have a directional arrow or vent hole near the edge. I don't see a vent hole or directional arrow. So yeah, we're going to put this in like this with the gasket on the outside. All right, well, I had a new thermostat on hand. Here's the new one. Here's the old one. And I don't know why, but I don't like the way this one looks. And this one looks like a way sturdier design. Even though this is new, I think I might put the old one back in. That might be a poor choice, but I think that's where I'm at. All right, so I'm just gonna take one of these pads and clean this up in here. All right, so the Scotch-Brite pad, that wasn't tough enough, so I had to go in there with a razor, and then I went back and cleaned up again with a Scotch-Brite pad. So we're gonna put this in like this, so that the gasket's on the outside, like it seems like it should be. There's a nice little pocket for the... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, that was almost really bad. I almost just dropped this whole thing in there. This is my favorite light. All right, let's try that again. All right, so back here. So now, yeah, this has a nice little pocket to fit in here. And so I'm gonna orient this up like this. There wasn't any vent hole or arrow like they said. So I'm just going with that. It goes like that. And then we've got, where did I put that? Oh yeah. Got our new thermostat housing that will pop up there. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory after this, I think. So apparently not. I just tried to put it on upside down. So yeah, we'll just pop this up here. We need a... Ooh, I almost dropped the thermostat fix. You know, I mean, these things, yeah, I'm always like try to be real careful with the thermostat because it seems like a pretty important piece. You don't want to mess it up. So we just need a, when we put this in, we need to make sure we get it behind the lifting bracket. So that's kind of why I dropped the thermostat. So I'm gonna just put this guy right here. What's going on here? I lost my light again. All right, good thing I moved that pan. All right, we're just gonna take the lifting bracket out for a second. And it'll be easier to get this up here. All right. we'll get one of the small ones in and put the lifting bracket back in. Let's get started right here. Wow, that's really hard to do without a socket. Okay, we'll try one of the bottom ones. Okay, this is just sitting here. I'll go grab that socket. Okay, we'll just get this guy in. No, we got a socket we can get in there. That doesn't feel right. Take that back out. You know, I'm going to loosen this guy so it can reorient this a little bit. Okay, now let's give this a shot. Oh, that feels better. So let's tighten these other ones up. Then we'll get the lifting bracket back in. So you can see, like over here, look at how that's gonna get a nice good seal in there. That gasket's got some room to compress. So get this tightened back up. Get this last guy tightened up in there. Yeah, I always wear a headlamp when I do stuff like this. So then the lights always, point in the right direction. And I obviously use another light too. I always mix this up. Now which one? I always mix up which is the short one and the long one. So, why didn't I pay attention to that? The lifting bracket has a short bolt and a long bolt, and I always mix up which one goes where. It makes me crazy every time I forget. How is that possible? Okay, I think the long one goes up top, I think. Let's make sure about that. Okay, I'm pretty sure the long one goes up top. Yeah, it's definitely the long one. Long one definitely goes up top. All right, when I nudge these down, I want to do it a little at a time so that that it gets nudged down evenly, so I can feel a little there, and then I'll move on to the next one. Then I'll just go back, so I can already feel some there. lifting bracket. Okay. So you can see that gasket we saw got sucked in, so it's making some good contact now. And we'll go around and nudge everything down a little more. Okay. All right, well, unfortunately I forgot. I just went and checked my parts that I had inside, and apparently I don't have the upper radiator hose, so I'm just gonna put the lower one in for now, put the upper one, old one back in, and I'll come back, partially drain the system and put this guy in. All right, here we go. Just slide this guy on there, and when I take these, the hose clamps off, I try to just hold them in the same spot and then put them right back on the new hose, so then they're oriented like, you know, where the screwdriver got them. It's oriented in the right direction. You don't have to figure it out all over again. All right, well, that was really cooperative. These hoses were thicker for some reason, so I had to really open up the clamps. And you don't have to kill these things either, just get them on there good. So then I'm gonna try to, I think there's room on this top side with the fan and stuff, so I'm gonna orient this way, so next time if I have to take this apart, it's easy to take apart. Seems like it's sticking out, but I don't even think it's gonna be close. All right, that feels good. So the same things, I left these clamps on here so they're oriented in the right direction. I never took them off the hose. So I already ordered a new hose. I like to have these around. And so I had to order a new set because I just did the water pump on the other car. And so then I just thought I'd do this one too, but obviously that wasn't a problem. So after I get them next week, then I'll replace this upper one again. All right, and so I need to close the valve down here, so I'm just going to reach down from the top instead of crawling underneath the car. All right, so it's looking good in here, and so now let's get the shroud in and the fan. All right, when you're putting this shroud back in, I mean, it's got these little tabs here on the side, And then there are little spots that those slide into. So there's one there and there's one down there. And it's the same on the other side. And sometimes there's one in the middle, but this radiator doesn't have that. So I don't really know a trick to do this. So I just put this in here and go like this and do the best I can. So a big part of it is line up those tabs before you screw down the fan. So now everything's resting in place right here. So I don't know if you can see it down in there. Let's see if I can point the light there. So right where my finger is, this is slid into place right here. And so this guy is right here. And I don't even know if I can see the bottom myself. But the bottom's in, you'll have to take my word for it. And then we'll just check the other side. Okay, so this one wasn't down in yet, so just need to nudge the whole thing up and then down, it looks like. Okay, see the bottom needs to go in. Okay, so now both these guys are in. And then there's one up top. This one looks like it's broken. And so that's looking good. So now I'm gonna go back and check the other side again, make sure we didn't move anything. Okay, those are still in place. Just gonna have to take my word for it because it's hard to see. And then, getting this guy on there, you know, getting that nut on there, you know, you just have to struggle with it. I don't know if there's any trick to it. If someone knows the trick, please let me know, because this is, I feel like this, every time I do this, I feel like it's a painful process. See if you guys can get a good view in there. I'll get a light in here for you. Alright, so once again, you're going to go the opposite way you think. So we want to go backwards. Sometimes if I can't get it after a few times, I'll put the wrench on it and turn it with the wrench and hope that does it. Yeah, I feel like this isn't cooperating already, so I think we're going to have to do that. I'll go get the wrench. So we want to turn it like we're trying to take it off. We just need one thread to catch and then it'll just spin on. I mean, part of this, they make long wrenches to fit in there, and that would probably make this job like way easier. So I think the key is to get it square, and these long, if you had a long wrench, then I think you really could just get it in there, get it square, and then give it a turn, and it would probably go right on. Oh, I think I just felt it notch into place on the thread. Could be wrong. If I can just catch it just right. Yep, there it goes. Alright, so now it's down, and then we're just going to do the opposite. I'm going to just put this guy on here and give it a tap with a hammer, like when we took it off. So let's see if I can... it's not the best placing of that, so let's just give this a little turn. Do it from the other side. we're gonna just give this a little tap. That's it. So basically, you don't have to kill that thing on there, because when you're running the motor and it's when it's torquing, it's trying to tighten the thing every time you step on the gas, really. So yeah, that's not a real big deal. All right, well, let's get some fluid in this thing and we'll bleed the system. All right, so I'm just gonna pour the same fluid back in here. I just took a funnel and an old t-shirt that I cut part of it off. I cleaned this catch pan out before I drained anything in here. So I'm gonna just put this back in, just because, according to when I changed the water pump, this fluid isn't that old. I'm just shaking the car with my leg so I can see the fluid line. I'll show you the fluid line in a second if you're not familiar with that. Let's just get this in here first. Probably gonna have some leftover until we start the motor up. And I like using this big chunky screwdriver for this bleed screw. It just seems to work really well. So I usually go way too far. You don't have to go this far up, but I just like doing that. But then you risk of it falling out and losing it or something. All right, we weren't so lucky. Here, let's just start it. Actually, I think it might go up if we start it. I can't remember. All right, I'm gonna just put this on. We're gonna spill a little. And I forgot the keys, so I gotta go get the keys. All right, you can see the fluid levels right here. When I shake it, you can see it wiggle around. I'm gonna try to leave a light here while I start it. And if you crouch down, you can't see it on the camera, but if you crouch down, I can see the lush colored gasket in that little hole ring for that. You definitely know it's open. I can see it bubbling a little, so I'm gonna pick up the RPM fluid so we can. This guy off. I know this isn't under pressure because the bleed screw's open. Alright, so we're down there pretty far. There's room to pour more in. So I'm going to shut this down and pour some more in. If I was just pouring it out of the container, the regular container, I probably would have left it running. Now that I look at the color of that particulate in there, I think some of that might have actually come out of the radiator. I'm not sure. Get some more fluid in here. I'll give you guys a look from here. Okay, so we're gonna have to put more than what's in here because we lost some on the floor. So I've got some new stuff over there that we're gonna put in. So we gotta let that drain down, and then we'll pour the rest of it in there. There's not that much left. So we're just going to do the same thing again. We're gonna put the cap back on, start it, and rev it up a little bit. Drop it down, drop it down. Okay, shut it down, do it again. And if we overfill it a little, that's okay, because we know this all came out of there, so we're not really overfilling it. It's just some air in there that needs to come out. All right, we'll call it close enough. All right, so this is the antifreeze that you need to use. This is a BMW antifreeze. And so I always keep one around, and I wrote that on there, 50/50. So this guy's empty right now. I already used this, and this is a new one. So I'm gonna dump half of this one and this one, and then I'm gonna write 50/50 on both of these, and then you have them rounded and you know what you've got. So we're gonna mix two of these up, and once you finish, once you finish one of these, you can throw it away. But when you finish the other one, don't throw it away, because when you get a new container, you're going to need to have another container to pour it into to make the 50/50 mix. All right, so now we're gonna be a little more careful. So you can see on the side of the radiator right here, might not come up on camera, but there's a little, whoops. There's a little line on the side of the radiator right there, and that's the cold line. So that's where you want to fill it to when it's cold. Okay, so I'm a little high right now. So that's okay because we still have some air in the system. I don't know if you caught all that, guys. I think I didn't press the button. But anyways, I just unturned this and bled it again. Revved it up for a while. I'm just going to take this thing for a drive and let it warm up. Keep a close eye on the temperature gauge. When I bring it back, I'm going to bleed this guy. There should be pressure in the system. The air should come out, and hopefully some fluid will come out, and then it should be bled. And then in the morning, I'll top off the fluid so we're at the right line where we talked about right here. And then I'll maybe drive it, keep a close eye on the temperature gauge, make sure there's not a problem. And I'll drive it around for a couple days, come back when it's heated up, bleed this one last time, and then make sure the fluid's right, and then I'll feel comfortable just leaving it like that.
All right, that was overall successful. The leak is fixed, so there's no more dripping. That was driving me crazy because it was always just enough to be like, but it's gone now. And that is a very doable job. And it just takes some patience. It just takes some time. There's nothing terribly complicated about it. The only thing is to maybe keep track of the thermostat housing, the thermostat orientation in there, like we saw in the book. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you later.